In an age ruled by superstition, one man dared to challenge the way people thought. A man who believed that knowledge wasn't just power, it was the key to human progress. Francis Bacon, philosopher, statesman, and the father of empiricism. His ideas laid the foundation for the scientific revolution, changing the way we seek truth and wisdom. But Bacon wasn't just a thinker. He was a guide for anyone seeking knowledge, success, and clarity in a world full of noise. Join me as we uncover the most powerful life lessons from Francis Bacon. Lessons that will reshape how you think, learn, and grow. Let's start. People have discovered that they can fool the devil, but they can't fool the neighbors. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. Age appears to be best in 4 things: old wood best to burn, old wine to drink, old friends to trust, and old authors to read. Hope is a good breakfast, but it is a bad supper. Silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. Truth is so hard to tell, it sometimes needs fiction to make it plausible. The best part of beauty is that which no picture can express. In order for the light to shine so brightly, the darkness must be present. It is impossible to love and to be wise. Money is like manure, of very little use, except it be spread. They are ill discoverers that think there is no land when they can see nothing but sea. Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. There is no excellent beauty that hath not some strangeness in the proportion. The job of the artist is always to deepen the mystery. Imagination was given to man to compensate him for what he is not, a sense of humor to console him for what he is. Truth is the daughter of time, not of authority. A man that studieth revenge keeps his own wounds green. Fortitude is the marshal of thought, the armor of the will, and the fort of reason. Wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age, and old men's nurses. I will never be an old man. To me, old age is always 15 years older than I am. He that hath wife and children hath given hostages to fortune, for they are impediments to great enterprises, either of virtue or mischief. God hangs the greatest weights upon the smallest wires. There is no comparison between that which is lost by not succeeding and that which is lost by not trying. Whoever is out of patience is out of possession of their soul. Truth emerges more readily from error than from confusion. If a man's wit be wandering, let him study the mathematics. There is a difference between happiness and wisdom. He that thinks himself the happiest man is really so, but he that thinks himself the wisest is generally the greatest fool. It is as natural to die as to be born, and to a little infant, perhaps, the one is as painful as the other. If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts, but if he will content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties. In taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy, but in passing it over, he is superior. A prudent question is one half of wisdom. The worst solitude is to have no real friendships. Whosoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. A bachelor's life is a fine breakfast, a flat lunch, and a miserable dinner. Silence is the virtue of fools. The root of all superstition is that men observe when a thing hits, but not when it misses. Children sweeten labors, but they make misfortunes more bitter. Men fear death, as children fear to go in the dark, and as that natural fear in children is increased by tales, so is the other. Houses are built to live in, and not to look on. Therefore, let use be preferred before uniformity. Anger makes dull men witty, but it keeps them poor. Revenge is a kind of wild justice, which the more a man's nature runs to, the more ought law to weed it out. Fame is like a river that beareth up things light and swollen, and drowns things weighty and solid. A false friend is more dangerous than an open enemy. Discretion of speech is more than eloquence, and to speak agreeably to him with whom we deal is more than to speak in good words or in good order. Small amounts of philosophy lead to atheism, but larger amounts bring us back to God. Certainly the best works, and of greatest merit for the public, have proceeded from the unmarried or childless men. The desire of excessive power caused the angels to fall. The desire of knowledge caused men to fall. I do not believe that any man fears to be dead, but only the stroke of death. There is nothing makes a man suspect much more than to know little. The genius, wit, and the spirit of a nation are discovered by their proverbs. Nature is often hidden, sometimes overcome, seldom extinguished. Fortune is like the market, where many times, if you can stay a little, the price will fall. Young people are fitter to invent than to judge, fitter for execution than for counsel, and more fit for new projects than for settled business. He that gives good advice builds with one hand. He that gives good counsel and example builds with both. But he that gives good admonition and bad example builds with one hand and pulls down with the other. Friends are thieves of time. If a man be gracious and courteous to strangers, it shows he is a citizen of the world. Good fame is like fire. When you have kindled, you may easily preserve it. But if you extinguish it, you will not easily kindle it again. Truth is a good dog, but always beware of barking too close to the heels of an error, lest you get your brains kicked out. Virtue is like a rich stone, best plain set. The worst men often give the best advice. Many a man's strength is in opposition, and when he faileth, he grows out of use. Life, an age to the miserable, and a moment to the happy. Friendship increases in visiting friends, but in visiting them seldom. It is a true rule that love is ever rewarded, either with the reciproc or with an inward and secret contempt. When a man laughs at his troubles, he loses a great many friends. They never forgive the loss of their prerogative. Pictures and shapes are but secondary objects, and please or displease only in the memory. He that hath knowledge spareth his words. Anger is certainly a kind of baseness, as it appears well in the weakness of those subjects in whom it reigns: children, women, old folks, sick folks. Riches are a good handmaiden, but a poor mistress. Money is a great servant, but a bad master. It is a sad fate for a man to die too well known to everybody else and still unknown to himself. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. The less people speak of their greatness, the more we think of it. If we are to achieve things never before accomplished, we must employ methods never before attempted. The serpent, if it wants to become the dragon, must eat itself. Great boldness is seldom without some absurdity. A man that is young in years may be old in hours if he have lost no time. The worst solitude is to be destitute of true friendship. For friends, do but look upon good books. They are true friends that will neither flatter nor dissemble. The surest way to prevent seditions is to take away the matter of them. Books speak plain when counselors blanch. Truth will sooner come out from error than from confusion. Worthy books are not companions, they are solitudes. We lose ourselves in them and all our cares. There is no vice that doth so cover a man with shame as to be found false and perfidious. If you are not happy for a minute, then you lost 60 seconds of happiness in your life. Marital love creates humanity. Friendship strengthens it, but lust damages and degrades it. The punishing of wits enhances their authority. A man dies as often as he loses his friends,